In a world of uncertainty, the Ronin stands apart. A master of sales and marketing who answers to no one. Forge your own path. Create your own success. 1,000 leaders, 1,000 Ronins. Will you be next? Join the revolution now. Step into mastery at therevenueronin.com. In a world of uncertainty, the Ronin stands apart. A master of sales and marketing who answers to no one. Forge your own path. Create your own success. 1,000 leaders, 1,000 Ronins. Will you be next? Join the revolution now. Step into mastery at therevenueronin.com.
Well, good morning, my friends. Good morning. Welcome to the Revenue Ronin community. Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone's doing well. This is another daily space here in the Revenue Ronin community. Just a reminder, we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the Startup Circle community, and Tuesday, Thursday we do in the Revenue Ronin community. So welcome everybody. I see some great friends out there already. Thanks guys for being here. We have the LinkedIn legend herself, Danielle, coming on stage. The LinkedIn legend herself. Good to see you, Danielle. We have Jane as well. Jane, good to see you. Happy Tuesday. I hope things are going well with the cybersecurity training and certification that you're working on. That's exciting. It's going to be much needed, especially now, thanks to this world of AI. So, welcome, Jane. Jackie is here as well. Jackie, great to see you. Really enjoyed hearing you on the space co-hosting with Will and Avni. I think it was like a couple weeks ago. Really enjoyed that. So, I hope you're doing well. Happy Tuesday. We have Antonio here as well. Antonio, an absolute tech legend, and also building Xscribe, which is a transcription service for transcribing X-based recordings into, actual copy that you can use for social media, etc. So Antonio's getting a break today. He doesn't have to do that today because I'm recording the Zoom meeting. So you're off the hook today, Antonio, but always good to see you. And today's space is sponsored by Antonio with his Xscribe service. So make sure you check out and give Antonio a follow, subscribe to his newsletter, and also check out what he's building with Xscribe. And Stardress is here as well. He's a younger digital marketer who's been joining us for quite some time now. So welcome, Stardress. Always good to see you. He's closed some deals. He's doing some client work. He's running ads, and that's what it's all about is taking action. So welcome everybody. Please like and repost the space. It's going to be a good one. I kind of pushed myself a little bit hard yesterday. I'm still, still getting over my cold and my sickness, but I'm getting better every single day. But yesterday I kind of pushed myself a bit hard. I had to go to bed early just because my body was, shutting down. And I told my wife, my daughter, look, I gotta go lay down. I gotta go lay down. I just, had to be honest with them. And so yeah, feeling better, got some good rest, got some good sleep, which is always good. And so yeah, today's topic is, sales and marketing mastery, obviously, because why? Because anyone can build anything now. So what is the only differentiation factor is sales and marketing. That, anyone can build anything now. Like anyone can build anything. So what's really going to separate you is your sales and your marketing, your positioning, your branding, your differentiation factor, your critical success factors, your relationships, your, emotionally appealing to prospects with your content, your storytelling, your brand building, your lessons learned in the trenches, uh, your wins, your losses. All these things are what's going to separate you with your marketing, with your messaging compared to other people and compared to AI. Because there's going to be a lot of AI slop out there. What is AI slop? It just means that it's, whether it's videos or content that, you look at it and you're like, oh, that's AI. That's not really that person. Or, oh, you know what? Like, that's not very believable. Or, so what's really going to separate you is just being authentic, genuine, and raw and real with who you are, who you're meant to serve, and that's the name of the game. And your personal brand is the ultimate sales funnel now. Like you're if you're a founder, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, your ultimate competitive edge is your personal brand now, and you just don't stop building. And listen, you're going to have breakdowns. Okay. I've had them. Maybe you guys have experienced them yourself, but you're going to have breakdowns. And for every single breakdown, that's really just your breakthrough to that next big move. Every setback is really just a setup for your next move. And I love Jason Digital's quote that he shares. It's all about your next big move. That's what it's all about. So yeah, we're going to be talking about, Tactical Tuesday here. Are you closing and onboarding? So, as you begin to scale your company, which I'm kind of in that mode right now, I lost a big client, unfortunately. I won't bore you with the details, but now that I am on the hunt for the next big client or clients, I'm putting together, let me get Andy up here as co-host. And once you start scaling and you're getting ready to, onboard new clients, the whole name of the game is really, you know, customer acquisition and then customer retention. But part of that and the really critical part is onboarding, right? So you close the deal, right? Like let's say I'm Danielle, I've closed a new speaking engagement. That's great. It's going to pay me a lot of money. So now it's onboarding, right? What do I do next? And who is helping me with that, right? Is it Danielle doing it? Is it Danielle's daughter helping her with that? Is it someone else? Is it more of a semi-automated process? What does that look like? So you really have to think about that. And you want to make sure it's a very positive onboarding process, that it's very seamless, it's very straightforward, it's very frictionless. Because if you make it very simple for them, there's a high likelihood that they're going to have a positive experience and then they're going to talk about it with others. Wow, we just contracted Danielle to speak at our next CBRE convention in Florida. And man, that onboarding process was so smooth. She had all the questions she needed answered. We gave her all the materials. We got legal to sign off on it. And it was a very seamless process. And so that's what you want. You want to leave them coming away with what you really want to wow them, right? You really want to wow them with how organized you are, you and your team, how straightforward things are and frictionless, because they will be shocked and they will be encouraged, and that will set the tone for everything, every other interaction. So it's really critical to make sure when you close that deal, you got to make sure you have an organized onboarding process. Otherwise, it can be chaotic, and then that can leave a taste in their mouth where it's like, uh-oh, this is going to be problematic. You do not want that. You do not want that to leave that impression on the client. So let me pause there and let me check in with Danielle and see how she's doing. And Danielle, good morning. How's it going? Welcome.
Good. I'm waking up over here slowly. I know it's not that early. It's almost 7 o'clock where the coffee's hitting. No, I'm listening to you. I still, admittedly run into problems with the coaching thing. Like I have never really done that whole 3-tier package thing, and that's starting to come up. I mean, I did it in theory, guys. I have it written out and whatnot, but I never really rolled it out. It didn't become a necessity. People just hire you. They want to, get through the coaching thing for 3 months, figure out their stuff. And then a lot of them move on or they just stay for a little bit. and I don't want anybody to really graduate. It's not the loss of income. I mean, there's always that, but it's also the loss of the relationships that I realized I start to feel like an empty nester all the time. So I still have to think about that. But you keep referencing my speaking, and yes, that has become a very real thing. And I've been very fortunate to be invited to a lot of this stuff. And so now I thought, okay, if God's bringing it my way, let me get very structured about promoting myself now in this space. I hadn't really done that. I just kind of flirted with it in as much as like, let me get an opportunity to get a platform to talk about the coaching. And now it's really now speaking as a business. So I'm just going as I go as God brings me to it. But one of the things, you're still right, Justin, we got to stand out in the age of AI. And I know very little bit about this speaking as a business, but what I've come to learn very quickly is that I am offering the people that are hiring me to do little short videos to their audience, to the people that are attending, or their organization's members. And that just seems like what you should organically do. It's not that I knew so I should do that. And that is really making me stand out. People are like, you mean you're willing to do a video that's like addressing the people before you even meet them? I'm like that's a big deal. Hello, iPhone. Hi, I'm Danielle Sproles. You're just like talking to an iPhone, right? And I had no idea that would be such a wow factor. It's a wow factor. Like I was like, yeah, people don't do that. Like I don't think that people won't do that. I don't think people think about doing that. So for all the misses that I'm making, because I have no idea about the speaker stuff as a business, I'm learning. I know how to speak. We know that. I know what my message is. We know that. But in terms of the nuances, when this thing gets bigger and they want a hype song and they want video in the back where they're announcing you, I mean, like this stuff is just a reach for me, and I will get there. But I'm doing it, so it's going to happen. But I'll create it. Anyway, it's just like be you in anything, and just just doing that is like a big deal. And so that's what I'm doing. It's not a big deal for me, but it's impressive for them. And it's a standout. AI didn't even think of that for me. I just did it, So yeah, it's Andy will appreciate this. Andy, I sent my book to my guy yesterday, the guy who looks things over, who looked over WTF. And he had said to me a couple weeks ago, he goes, it'll take about a month for me to get to you, Danielle. I said, hey, that's fine. I keep tweaking this thing. I just, And anyway, yesterday out of nowhere, while I'm at my busiest, the height of things going on, and it's my daughter's birthday, he texts me, he goes, I have a window, send it right now. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, it's not ready to talk today. And I'm like, and I sent it off, and I was like, okay. I am appreciative that that's just off my list. I can't play with it anymore. And truth was, I was playing with it too much, and I think I was ruining it, because that's what you can do with a book. For those of you on here who have written a book or are about to write a book, the journey is interesting. So buckle up if you do it. You will love what you wrote, and then you'll absolutely hate it, and then you'll fall in love with it again, and then you'll think it sucks, and you want to throw it in the trash. And so it's part of the process. Anyway, I'm blabbering. I need to drink more coffee. But, things are good. And yes, I'm onboarding, both in the speaker space. I got another gig and with that. And so, so here we go. Let's bring it 2026.
Yeah, thanks, Danielle. And just for clarity, so are you getting a lot of these speaking gigs from like LinkedIn, mostly in your newsletter, or maybe you could just share with us like what's been working best for you on how you're able to acquire some of these speaking gigs? And then the second thing I just acknowledge is that, look, you give off the impression that, hey, you're this company, you're this big deal, and you have a team behind you, and that's good, and you make it happen, and it's really finding out what they want. We always come back to find out what they want, go and get it, and give it to them. And if you can make it happen with, and you never know what's going to impress people with what they're really looking for. Whoa, those are some great short clips. And clipping has become like a huge business. I mean, I'm doing demos, another demo today with a clipping tool that combines Opus Clip, Hootsuite, and something else. And so I have a demo today, this afternoon. And so, yeah, like you just never know, but we know the importance of content creation. So before I go down that path, I just want to ask you, like, what is working the best for you right now, if you don't mind sharing on how you're able to acquire these speaking engagements? I know it's been 2 years in the making, but what is the channel that's really helping drive that?
Channel is absolutely, for me, LinkedIn. because I've been on there for a bit, and that's really who. And not that I have big numbers. I mean, you don't look at it, go, oh, Danielle's got 80,000 followers. I don't. LinkedIn doesn't do a whole lot of clicking and followers. They're very funny. They're very conservative, but that doesn't mean they're not watching, and that doesn't mean they're not connecting. That I will tell you. A lot of the interactions that happen are off the platform itself. So people are consuming in corporate America, but they're not necessarily participating. So that's the wild truth of that. Every single one of the things that are happening right now, interestingly enough, are not from people that I know well, but that have seen me. So they're from as a result of being in the audience or being in a room. So this next thing I just got hired for in Palm Desert, I was like, who is this woman that's asking me this? I looked her up, like, yeah, we're connected. And she met me at a conference, and I probably talked to her at one cocktail party. That's it. And when I asked her, I said, this is really a pretty big deal, like what you're inviting me to do. You've never seen me speak. And she said, no, but I see how you own the room. And I was like, wow, okay, let's go. And truth is, it's not that I ever own a room. I'm a bit of a mayor personality. There is that. But I am, I think, just like if you meet me and I'm in a room and I'm happy about it, and I mostly am if I'm like working, kind of networking thing, is that I'm jubilant. I think that people see that I love to meet other people in a very genuine manner, and that I'm happy and grounded in myself. And it's not that I'm arrogant. I'm just comfortable with who I am today, and that took a lot of inner work and a lot of changes, a lot of choices. Like, let's be clear, didn't always feel that way. And today I'm okay with who I am, and I'm in love with my work and my message. And so that just shows, right? That just shows. So I think that, that's what it is. But yeah, people, speaking, people meet you from other speaking gigs, and not huge ones. These are becoming huge because people saw me do small ones. And they wanted to see like what you look like in action. And then of course, what do you message? What's your message? So my messaging is becoming really just widely accepted, especially the pivot part. That's crazy, right? The PIVOT, the leadership decisions, like sequence of thinking. But where I fall short, like this isn't like just all, rainbows and unicorns over here. It's like, what am I selling on stage? And not blatantly selling, but while I've got their attention, what are, the ways that they can start working with me? What's the low threshold? Where's this, smaller gateway? I'm trying to create that. Is it complicated? Probably not, but it's all happening so fast. So, and what lands, lands. What I'm not ready for in any given moment, I'm going to give myself some grace and space. So, but it's going well. So thanks for asking. The LinkedIn, I think, is wonderful if you're trying to. Well, I shouldn't say that. I only know corporate America there. It's like anywhere else that you could be on Instagram and your whole audience looks very different than Danielle's audience because my age and my contacts, right? So I don't know what it looks like for everybody else. I just know that mine is dominated by people in suits. Theoretically in suits. They're not really wearing suits in California, even if they're the CEO. But that is who my audience is. Those are the people who pay me, and those are the people who have the resources to hire and do those kind of things for the type of things I do. So yeah, LinkedIn is where I am most active.
Amazing. And yeah, like I would love to work with you one-on-one about your offer for the back of the room one of these days if you're open to it. So, and the reason why I mention this is because I have a lot of experience with when I worked for Harvecker and other, big speakers, authors, coaches, I would be experience live, like towards the end of their presentation, literally people would run to the back of the room. Like they literally get up out of the chair and their message and their offer was so compelling. It was like, and I literally see people running to the back of the room. And, that's what's on the table for you, Danielle. Like as you continue building this momentum and stepping into that greatness, you will have so much impact on people, like as you already do, but it will get to the point of a level of mastery where they will run to the back of the room to do business with you. They will want to work with you. And so just some minor tweaks in the offering and the structure of the offer towards the end is what's coming for you. That's what I'm envisioning for you. So get ready. It's going to happen.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and then hopefully I have the bandwidth. The smaller offers, smaller engagements in terms of coaching, like force and whatnot. It doesn't. I'm resistant to it, and I shouldn't be resistant to anything. Although, remember my 2026 word from ChatGPT itself said restraint, and then it just defined it as selective intensity. And I think the truth of it is, I can't in my work, like it's almost like picture me as a therapist, right? Because there's a therapeutic component to coaching. I'm not really interested in having somebody for a 4-session package that they could afford, because that's all these starts and finishes to the relationship. When I do it and I go deep. And already now, I mean, people contact me and I'm thinking, who are they? What are they? There's so many names out there. So many people like me. I mean, even when they're hiring, like, what? Like I have a meeting today at 10 o'clock this morning from some woman. I'm like, who are you? And I don't say it like that. I say it like that in my head. And then I'm like, she wants to talk to me. She wants a coach. And where's she, Florida? How the hell she hear about me? I mean, you do ask that question. But it's like, it's interesting. And I'm not bragging. I mean, if anybody were to pick up on that, it's a big flat no. But it becomes this tidal wave. And I don't know that and it's not even about hiring other people. It's like, where are you coming from? And why would I want to talk to somebody for 3 sessions? Because the turn is confusing in my brain. It's almost like dating a bunch of people. That's what it feels like. You get into their head. They give you information about themselves that's so personal and big. And then it's like, next. I'm like, who the fuck? Like, oh, and I got these spreadsheets. So I don't know. The kind of things I want to be hired for is like big ass companies like Google has me come in because their office in Orange County, California needs a coach, and I'm coaching that team. I don't know that those decisions are really made in the back of a room, but yes, admittedly, I'm leaving money on the table, not doing something, but that's what I want. I want a few robust, serious relationships, and that's it. And what I seem to be attracting right now is a lot of people who I make feel good, that I probably give hope to just in what I'm saying and what I'm doing. And it's becoming a village, but I don't want a village, only because I don't have the bandwidth and the capacity to handle a village. That's the God's honest truth. I have enough one-on-one clients right now, and they're like my children, and as much as I'm mama duck, and they lean on me and rely on me in a way that's really beautiful. I'm so grateful for the work, but I don't want any more little ducks. Okay, this mama duck wants to go to like a bigger pond, and I want the pond to pay me. I don't want more followers like that, only because I can't do it. It's just too much. So I think maybe God will have for me, when I think about the coaching, maybe he's going to say, Danielle, you're going to coach audiences, and that's how you'll be paid. And that will be what your business is. Like, you coach people with your message, and maybe maybe that's going to be good enough. So we'll see as I graduate, the ladder there and get up. And I do know that there's some people get paid tons of money for being up there and speaking. So maybe that's the trajectory for me. We'll see. Listen, I show up, I say yes to the opportunities that make sense, and I work my ass off to over deliver what their expectation of me is. That's what I do, because that's my gratitude in action by doing that. And I prepare like beyond. So, that's where we're at on this wonderful Tuesday, which I'm told is Chinese New Year today. And apparently there's a whole host of things you're supposed to do and not do. So if anybody's interested in that, sounds a little like superstitious. Not that I like that word, but I love culture and I love meaning behind the things. But it's an interesting list. So go check it out.
Yeah, thanks, Danielle. Yeah, really appreciate and it's great to, hear you share like the journey of, and really get deep into, what's going through your mind and the decisions that you're making. And yeah, so I appreciate you, being vulnerable and open and sharing. And I want to welcome to the stage Yvonne, and I also see our good buddy Sega out there, who Sega's been a good friend on this platform for, over 2 years. So thank you, Sega. So good to see you. I hope you're doing well. And also Andy is here listening in the back. He's closing some deals on the back channel. We got John Carlos here, which if you guys haven't checked out John Carlos's new newsletter, I highly encourage you. Hopefully he doesn't mind me plugging it, but I'm really enjoying it because it's all about, the future of parenting with, in a world of AI where, these jobs are disappearing. And it's like, how do you prepare your children for a world with AI where, what are they supposed to learn? How do they learn? And with, thanks to AI, where we're moving to more of uh, a world without, the standard, teaching practices, like, there's a lot of changes and adaptability that has to take place. So I'm really getting a lot of good wisdom from John Carlos on that. So thank you, John Carlos. My daughter is going to be 5 in July. I can't believe it. And yeah, it goes by very quick. It goes by very quick. So, and shout out to Jane and AVR. Anna is out there as well. She's our newest Ronin member. So thank you, Anna, for investing in yourself and investing in the Ronin community. We got Antonio, Mr. Dalio, Jackie, Stardris, Dennis, Kale, Mark, Dan, uh, for me, Ruth, thank you guys for being here. Please like and repost the space. Would really appreciate it. And I do want to call your attention to a post here from Alex Hormozi that I highlighted in the Jumbotron here. So, if you're just starting out in business, like, how does Alex Hormozi suggest that you split your day? This is really powerful. And it's pretty quite simple, but the first 4 hours is really promoting, right? Like, you want to promote who you are, what you do, how you can serve people, the problems that you help people overcome, whatever that looks like for you and your business model. And if you don't have your business model, like, you got to start with that first, right? Like, I know very clearly Danielle's business model. I have a really good sense of Yvonne's business model. I know Andy's business model. I know John Carlos's business model, right? So you got to be very clear on what is your business model. That's number one. And then, the first 4 hours is promoting. The next 4 hours is building, right? So now you know, you're building, solutions for your customers. You're doing you're building new offers. You're building new fulfillment packages. You're building content, whatever it is. And then the last 4 hours of your day is delivery, right? So now you're delivering. So you've promoted, you've built the offers, you've sold somebody, and now it's time to do delivery, right? So client fulfillment work. So that's pretty much how you structure your day if you're just starting out. And yeah, you'll find yourself in different times, and this is why sales and marketing mastery is absolutely critical. You will find yourself in a place where, wow, I have too many prospects, right? I have too many prospects. I'm going to need to hire like a part-time salesperson to help me, or a part-time VA to help me go through all these prospects and help close deals. Like, you will find yourself in that situation. And then the other situation on the flip side is, hey, wow, I've just sold all these deals. I just sold, 10 speaking gigs. And now, man, I need help with, fulfillment. I need help with organizing all this stuff, right? And so you'll get to a situation, and the pendulum swings. The pendulum swings back and forth all the time. So sometimes you're in the space where you have plenty of prospects, but and at the same time, then you have to get into a situation where, wow, I have plenty of delivery that I have to do. So then your prospecting goes by the wayside because you're prioritizing delivery. But the point here is that you need systems in place to help continue the prospecting and continue the delivery that doesn't stop without you not being there. This is critical, and you'll get to that place. You'll get to that place. You will, and as long as you don't stop. But the point is, you're going to find yourself, back and forth with the pendulum, and you just have to embrace it and try to set up systems to help you with that. Um, so yeah, let's check in with Yvonne here. And Yvonne, so good to have you in the space today. Really enjoying your newsletter, and yeah, bring us up to speed. How's your Tuesday going? And are you closing and onboarding? Welcome.
Hey, good morning. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Yeah, thank you. I didn't get as early of a start today as I did yesterday because I ended up being up till like 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to have like this kind of energy all throughout the day instead of just, anyway, you know how that goes when you're trying to manage your body with recalibrating it and stuff. I'm like, totally gets me out of whack. But anyway, I had to come up because, well, one, to support, but then also I just love so many things that you were sharing, Danielle. Like, I love your shares. I know Justin's mentioned that before, but too, because your part of your journey and what you're doing is different. That's what I love about this whole community. Like, we're all at different levels. We're all like doing different things and having different approaches. And I love what you were sharing about the different speaking gigs and stuff. And Justin, I love that you were asking her, how's that going and stuff. Like, these are the kind of things that are important to share, right? With how businesses expand. And what I thought about when you were sharing that is, we're not building rooms here, you guys. We're building castles, right? There's not only one room that you have to focus on with how your business expands and how you're building out. And I just think that, the discovery process, I just love Danielle, and kudos to you, girl, because you know who you are and you know what you want, right? Like, you're being truthful and honest with yourself. Like, I don't want to do the one-on-one things. And I absolutely love that because it's important. Like, a lot of times when people are starting, if they don't really know, like, have that vision, like you were saying, like their business model or their mission statement of what they want to do, then they can end up doing like so many different things, and it's not really getting them into the direction of the quote unquote happy place of where, what they really want to be doing. But I also wanted to mention how you, like, when you were talking about getting discovered, because that is the thing. The more you put stuff out there, you just don't ever know how that's going to happen. Like, I mean, I don't know if you guys ever watch American Idol, but the guy who's one of the judges on there, Luke, he literally brought people in, you guys. Like, you just never know. That's what's so amazing about social media and why it's so important to, with whatever you're doing, coming back to marketing, right? Putting your stuff out there on a regular, even if it's your personal brand, even if it's just posting like positive, motivating things. He literally brought in people from freaking TikTok who were singing on TikTok. He saw their videos and they got to freaking audition, for freaking American Idol and get on TV and all this kind of stuff. Like, you just never know. That's why it's so important to keep putting yourself out there on, so many different avenues. I also got to give a shout out to Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm sorry, you guys, but if you're not following him on X, I freaking love his posts. Like, for whatever reason, I got like in his little ecosystem, and he goes back to identity on a regular basis. And I absolutely freaking love it. Like, today he was talking about women and how certain levels and industries, or, society can try to put an identity on you of who you're supposed to be. And a lot of times people just passively accept that. And I love the post that he did. He was talking about menopausal women. Thankfully, I'm not in that camp yet, but like menopausal women, premenopausal, post, all this kind of stuff. But he was talking about how they try to like kind of pit people or women into a camp saying they can't build muscle and they can't rebuild their body when they're like 60 years old and all this kind of stuff. And he's like poo-pooing on it. It is super powerful. He talks about so many different types of levels because he's so into getting people fit and healthy and stuff. And I'm not even kidding you, 11 freaking o'clock. No, I think it was like 10:30 last night. I hadn't done my workout because I was busy doing stuff throughout the day on the computer and everything. So I didn't get to go out and do that. And 10 freaking 30 at night, I was literally doing my exercises because I was like, damn it, I'm getting this in. So, sorry, I know that wasn't like related to the question that you were saying, are you closing and onboarding? I'm still in the building process right now. But so I don't know that I have anything specific to say with that. Even with the newsletter, though, even like setting up a welcome email for the newsletter and things like that, I feel like that is like a form of onboarding. And even with my newsletter itself, I feel like that's, I am going to be having products with my personal brand as well as with my business directly incorporated into my beehive with that. So within that page, I'm going to be promoting and sharing some of my own products that I'm selling on there and stuff. So part of the newsletter is kind of part of onboarding for me on an ongoing regular basis with that, because I don't necessarily do the one-on-one client work. I'm kind of in Danielle's camp with that, right? Like if I'm teaching a class on acting or something like that, I might have, if I have like 30, 40 people or something like that, then I might like in like if they're doing a scene or something like that, then I might get up there and two of them doing a scene together and then coach something specifically, give some direction and stuff like that. Or maybe if I'm doing like a video where I have like 40, 50 people or something like that in one of the VIP sessions that I'm doing, then everyone's kind of doing their thing, and then I will point people out in that group, like if I can see something that can help make them a little better and stuff. But I'm not like doing like how therapy does, like one-on-one sessions. And it's kind of the same reason that Danielle was saying. For me, I feel like I'm doing a disservice if I'm only doing one-on-one stuff like that, right? Like, I mean, I understand that people do it, and like you can get clients that will end up wanting to pay you, $10,000 or $3,000. Like, it's crazy how that can end up happening when you start doing some of this stuff because they want to have that kind of time with you. I mean, even Tony Robbins does that sometimes, but you got to be a really high paying client to do that, because why would you just want to share what you have to offer with one person when you can help like 50 to 100 or what have you? And anyway, so I just feel like that's kind of like my onboarding type situation. And then lastly, I'll say, sorry, I'm totally rambling, but there are not a lot of people on the stage. So but I'm also finalizing the sales funnel for my special 3-day content creator and personal branding workshop that I'm doing with Annie. So kind of Annie. Oh my God. See, I don't have my coffee yet, guys. So I'm like finalizing that, and then I'll be like launching it officially and putting the pitches out there and stuff. But I'm doing it all kind of like interwoven together. I'm not just taking one avenue with that. I'm also going to have that listed on the newsletter and stuff like so. So just a freaking ton of building, right? Like that was a mouthful, but yeah, let's go.
Yeah, congrats on getting it in still, Yvonne. That's a big, commitment to yourself. So that's want to acknowledge you for that because yeah, like I pushed myself a little too hard yesterday and like my body shut down at night last night, like early, and I was like I had to go to bed. I just, 'cause I'm still sick, but I'm still like trying to, do my walk and do my exercising and, working as well. And I think I maybe put in too many hours yesterday, but yeah, so hat tip to you for getting it done. Still, you got it done. And then some coaching for you if you're open to it. Just give me a thumbs up if you're open to some coaching. Okay, good. All right. I always like to ask. Okay, so I would start getting your interest list ready to go. So I know you have a pretty big network being in the entertainment acting space. And so I would start having conversations with people now and start getting them into your interest list and just let them know, like, hey, would you mind if I shared with you what I'm building, what I'm working on? Great. Here's what I'm working on. Can I add you to my interest list? So when it's launched, when it's ready, when it's finalized, I can reach out and, you would be maybe a good candidate to participate in this program and start building that now. So at least you have, 10 people, 20 people, and start with your personal network, right? Like you have the connections, you have the Hollywood, you have the entertainers, you have the music, you have all these people that are already in your network. So start, even if they're off X, you go start with off X, right? And really tap into that network because what we tend to do, and I've experienced this myself, what we tend to do is we don't look to our internal network first. And yes, we want new people, but we got to look towards our inner network first. These are people that already know us, like us, trust us. There's a high likelihood that they may do business with us. You never know. So start with your personal network and your professional network first. Build that interest list. And then here's another pro tip for everyone. You always want to have your top tier offer, right? My top tier offer is $30,000 for 90 days. This is a guaranteed return on investment in 90 days or less, and otherwise they don't pay the final invoice, which is $10,000. And it's for CEOs. They must qualify, and that's my top tier offer. And so, I've sold this a couple times, and it works. But you always want to have a top tier offer, a top tier offer. And so, yes, you have your speaking, yes, you have your coaching, yes, you have your agency packages, whatever that looks like based on their budget. But first, you always want to have your top tier offer because you never know when someone's going to approach you because it's happened. Hey, Justin, I really want to work with you one-on-one. Like I need a fractional chief revenue officer. Okay, great. It's $10,000 a month. This is what you get. This is how much time you get from me. And I guarantee return on investment in 90 days or less. Oh, you don't have an email list? That's going to be very challenging to pull off. So unfortunately, you don't qualify for this offer. Okay, great. That's too bad. So the point is like they have to qualify for that offer. It's got to be very specific. And I've run the numbers religiously, so I know if you have an X amount of email list, if your product or service is X amount of value, if you already have a proven offer without ads, you already have an email list, all this stuff, then I know I can help you. If you don't meet that criteria, then I can't help you. It's like, you know, I'm not going to have them spend $30,000 if I know I'm not going to be able to get them the result. It's very simple. It's very simple. The math, math never lies. The data never lies. So for you, Yvonne, start that interest list, and for everyone, start your interest list. When I got laid off, 2.5 years ago at that, one of my previous jobs, the first thing I do, the first week, I went through all my contacts in my phone, probably, I don't know, a couple hundred, and I signed 4 clients within a week. Okay, that's the level of urgency it takes. You just pick up the phone and you freaking make the call. And don't be uncomfortable. Don't be uncomfortable. Hey Jim, Justin here, just checking in. I know it's been a while since we've connected. Listen, I just got let go at my job. I've been studying AI a lot. I think I can help your business. I'd love to set up a discovery call, see what challenges you're having in your business. Are you struggling with any sales and marketing? Do you need more clients? Do you need more revenue? Yeah, Justin, I do. I'm doing events. Awesome. You want to fill those events, right? Yeah, I do. Okay, great. Well, let's set up some Facebook ads. Let's get this going. What's your budget? All right, great. Boom, close the deal. Next. Call the next person. Call the next person, and next, and next, and next, and next. And you just get into this rhythm, you get into this groove, and then within a week I had 4 clients. So I went from 0 clients, full-time job, head of marketing, 0 clients to, 4 clients in a week. So it's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. So, and then make sure you structure your top tier offer. Okay, your top tier offer. Make sure you have that in the back of your pocket. You can pull out at any time. Oh yeah, I happen to have a top tier offer. A great offer for you right here. Here it is. And just give it to them. So I know I dropped a lot on you guys here, but I think it's really helpful, very timely here. Let's go back over to Yvonne, and then we'll pass it over to Jackie. Okay, go for it, Yvonne.
Ooh, love that. Things you said, but I also just have to give you a shout out because that was a beautiful pro move right there, my friend. Like asking, even though I know they do that in sales, but that's such a powerful thing instead of just offering the advice, being like, are you open to receiving it? Essentially, that was fire. Like that was a fire little sneak ninja move there, move. That's awesome. And let me ask you this too, right? Because you just reminded me, I put it on my list to do. I'm so glad that you mentioned that because I know even Christelle has mentioned, make sure, have a wait list, right? Like have a wait list. Because one of the things that I was going to do is have, and to have a top tier, go ahead and have that. I didn't think about that too, having that kind of just basic there and ready to go. But I was also going to ask, the way I was going to do it was some of the courses that I'm offering as I'm building that out and even on the website, right? Because like you said, I'm in the building process, but I was going to have with that people who are interested where they can basically sign up for a wait list for something like that. So I already have their contact information when I'm ready to launch. And I love that you said that about reaching out to your contacts you have already, because when I was talking to Ani about the 3-day contest that we're doing, essentially, instead of just like posting it out and just doing the spaces, I'm literally going to be sending direct DMs to people that are following me and stuff like that, and on other platforms and everything, just to, like you said, kind of get that ball rolling, because you don't realize sometimes you think you have to do ads to reach new people when you already have so many people following you and you already have all these connections. Like, why would you not be sending those direct DMs and stuff directly? Because you just never know who some of those people who might want to opt in. It might be something that they need. So I told her, and she was like, oh, I didn't even think about doing that. But are there other ways, like aside from that, because I'm not doing like, kind of the same thing that you're doing, other than having like the product basically listed and ready to go, even though haven't completed it yet and it's not launched yet, to have other than people signing up for a wait list? Any other suggestions there? Let's just,
Yeah, no, that's the biggest one is just, yeah, positioning it as a wait list or interest list. And because you're really gauging interest on, hey, is this going to work, right? And you will iterate the landing page quite a few times. You will iterate the copy, the messaging to the point where it's like, okay, somebody bought. And look, you will have to get people on the phone as well. If you just think you're going to send DMs and get people to close, like there's a high likelihood, in all honesty, it would be great if it happened, but there's a good chance you're going to need to touch them multiple times. You're going to need to get on a space. You're going to need to get on a call. You're going to need to get in their DMs. You're going to need to send them an email. You're going to need to follow up with them. Like that's the reality, from my experience. Now, um, that I'm just speaking from my own experience. Now, if yeah, you shouldn't be running ads at all. Now you can run ads to get people to subscribe to your newsletter. That's different, right? Like Ani's mastered that. She does a great job. Ideally, I'm going to pay her when I get my next big client to do it for me. But the point is like getting someone to sign up for your newsletter is a lot different than having them sign up for your program or your, 3-day intensive, etc. But it's really going to be a combination for you guys is hosting a space on the topic, sending emails, creating an interest list, a wait list, and also DMs, and yeah, maybe even getting on like a pre-webinar. Like Christelle's done a great job, and she talks about it in her newsletter a lot. It's like she did webinars once a month first, and then she got them interested in this $1 million mansion mastermind, right? So it's always a progression. It's always a progression. Will you have those one people who just see the offer the first time and bite at it? Absolutely. But it's maybe a 1% chance. The odds are not in your favor. The odds are in your favor if you do a multi-channel, omni-channel approach where it's like people are just like served so much value and messaging and attention on who you are, what you're building, and what your offer is, to the point where it's like, you know what, man, I've been seeing Ani and Yvonne promote this everywhere. I better jump on this, and then they'll attend, and then ideally they'll buy. That's how our minds work. Is we need to be reminded of things multiple times. So yeah, great stuff, Yvonne. I want to go over to Jackie as we got about 15 minutes left. But yeah, great questions, Yvonne. This has been a fire conversation, and I'm loving it. And yeah, get that top tier offer going as well. I know even in my network with celebrities, I know I could probably send you like 2 or 3 referrals. Like I'm just thinking in my network of who I know, and yeah, like I think I could send you like 2 or 3 referrals. So, and don't forget about referrals too, guys. So yeah, this is another pro tip here. Referrals are big, right? When you have John Carlos, hat tip to John Carlos, when you have him hitting you up on the back channel on collaborations, or hey, I got this potential client for you, Justin, I want you to run the ads, right? Like these are types of things that happen here on X. So, referrals, don't sleep on referrals. So who can you refer people to? Givers gain. Okay, givers gain. There's an old BNI quote, givers gain, right? If you're a giver, you can't be a taker all the time. You got to be a giver too. You got to give referrals. You got to, highlight other people. And it's called karmic business. It'll come back to you. So, but get those referrals ready, that you can refer people, and then you do a rev share, right? Hey, if I refer you a couple clients, Yvonne, like I'm definitely looking for a kickback. Like that's okay. Like, we're all in this to make money together, right? We want a win-win business relationship. We don't want to win-lose. We want win-wins. So think about how you can have win-win relationships. All right, let's go over to Jackie. Jackie, thank you for your patience. I hope you're doing well. Welcome. How's it going?
Hello. I'll do my get this out. I'm just getting over a cold. Justin, you seriously are an inspiration having such consistent spaces, and I was so excited. Will, he just mentioned the space that we did together with Avni. It was really, really incredible to have you in the space, Justin. When you see people in audiences that come into your spaces, or you're in spaces with people, it can be so significant. Yvonne is one of those people. She had her space and it was consistent too. And I loved being in there. Yvonne, you already have a castle, girl. You see, invite people in. You have so much to offer. Your knowledge is incredible. You exude just beauty, with like anything that you say is just done so well. So you have your castle. You don't need to build more. I mean, you could keep on going. And then when I talked to Danielle, I appreciate her because she's been so honest and enthusiastic. I would speak more, but my voice isn't going to help me out with that. But you never know what room you're in is actually could be your karmic business, Justin. And time is money. We offer our time here, and you never know when you're going to get that money in a different way, karmically, and in reality. So you could be already very wealthy because contacts on X in real life. And I think if we realize what our ask is, and like what Justin was saying, like ask your people, your core, or on X, be like, yo, this is my ask. There would be, Yvonne, you have a wonderful group of people. And if I could help you in any way, I would too. So, thank you.
Well, thank you, Jackie, for the kind words, and thanks for coming up, even though you're not feeling good. And yeah, your words were very powerful. So yeah, that book that I mentioned, so there's two books I want to mention, Karmic Management by Michael Gordon, and then also Karmic Marketing by Joe Vitale. So those are two good books. I've read the Karmic Marketing one by Joe Vitale, but I haven't read the Karmic Management. I have Karmic Management. It's sitting on my bookcase, but I haven't read it. But yeah, these are really good books to read. And yeah, Jackie's right. Like you do, Yvonne, have that castle already. And the power of the ask. So this is a good reminder for Jackie, the power of the ask. So there's power to when you ask a question. Like questions hook the mind, right? They hook the mind. That's why they're, and so, you know, make sure like when you're asking something with intention, with purpose, and it's okay to ask. It's okay to ask for the sale. It's okay to ask for referrals. It's okay to ask for, other business. And, you know, everything is negotiable. Okay, when I used to go to Vegas and I would do the $20 tip trick, this is back in my 20s, right? I'd ask the lady at the front desk, hey, or the gentleman, hey, you know what? I'm here with my buddies here. Is there any way you guys have an upgrade for us? And I'd be holding the $20, and the $20 bill in my hand. And he's like, yeah, let me check, Mr. French. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we do have a suite available for you guys. Like, boom. And then I just give him the $20. Boom. He would upgrade our. So everything is negotiable. You have to ask. The point is you have to ask. So it's a good reminder, Jackie. Thank you for that. And always good to see you. Get better. Drink that tea with lemon, turmeric, and some honey as well. And yeah, it's taken me, gosh. I've been on and off sick for, months. Bronchitis, pneumonia, flu, you name it, I've had it. And so yeah, like we have to take care of ourselves, and it's that season for sure. So take care of yourself, Jackie. Yeah, go ahead, Jackie. Jump in.
Thank you. Yeah, there's pushing past, and then there's also grace. So some of y'all that are in the audience, do when I speak? I don't always speak in spaces. I like to listen and learn stuff and get inspired. When I compliment someone on this platform, it is genuine because it is something about encouragement, but I only encourage when I see great potential and beauty. And when I came up today is for me to say that. And Andy has consistent spaces down there as well. And I compliment him because these people, I believe, I want to acknowledge, they're just the magnitude on this platform. Will too. Like when Will and Abney asked me to do that space, we don't know the impact, but I do know that I mean this. Like when I get on stages and I tell people, great job, you're doing a good job, it's not false praise. And so why I came up here today and trying to push through my speaking is that the people speaking today, or the people in this room, deserve it. Truly. And so that's the only reason why I came up to speak about that. But Justin, speaking upon asking questions, what is your number one ask right now?
Yeah, thank you, Jackie. So my number one ask is I'm really on the hunt for my next big client. I lost a $7,000 a month client, which is really impacting me. So I'm on the hunt for the next, big ticket client. Who that looks like for me is a company that's generating over $1 million a year. They're looking to break in between 1 million and 5 million a year. They're looking to get to 10 million a year. They really need a growth partner. They need a fractional chief revenue officer that can take them to that next level, obviously through sales and marketing and tech, AI, and that's my specialty. So if you or someone runs into anyone like that who's a CEO, who's growing their business. They're struggling to prove return on investment with their existing marketing agency or team. That would be a good referral for me. And I can really, be that growth partner for them. So yeah, thank you for asking, Jackie. That's what I'm really looking for right now is another client to fill in that gap for that 7K a month that I lost. And yeah, um, also the Revenue Ronin community is growing, which, if you guys want to join the ranks, that would be great. No obligation, but we are growing. The prices are going to keep going up. The mission is very clear. It's 1,000 people, and we've had over 45 people sign up, I think, which is great. Very humbling. And so, that's along the lines of I always teach, the three different offers, right? You have your high ticket offer, your mid ticket, and your low ticket. And every single one of us on this stage should have all three. You should always have your high ticket, your mid ticket, and your low ticket. And so you can pull that out of your back pocket at any time to meet people where they're at. But they need education. They need to understand the value and also the pain point that you're helping them solve. So yeah, thank you for that, Jackie. Yeah, back over to you, and then we'll go to Max and Will, and then we'll close out here. So yeah, over to you, Jackie. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for saying that. Do what I can. So as far as ideal client industry, is there a certain one that you would be fired up to do? Like yeah, always wanted to do this certain industry. And then this is give you a one or a yes or no answer. You can message me in the DM. You don't have to message at all. But I think this goes into mindset. Do you believe you'll get it? And do you believe you'll get it soon?
Yeah, I know I'll get it. I know I'll get it by the end of Q2. I know I'll get it by the end of Q1. Yeah, because I've already committed to that. It's already in my mind that it will happen. It's not a question of if, it's just when, and it's got to be on the timeline so that I've committed to. And so yeah, thank you for that. And then yeah, as far as industry goes, financial excuse me, financial institutions, biotech, e-commerce, and veterinarian. So those are kind of like my four specialty areas. Also health and wellness, so I have some chiropractic offices right now that I'm really working with, and taking over all their marketing. So yeah, those are kind of the industries that I'm on the hunt for and have expertise in. And so yeah, but I will for sure, like we will get that, at least 7K a month client, high ticket, by the end of Q1 of this year. So yeah, thank you for that, Jackie. And yeah, please keep coming back. Oh, go for it, Jackie, and then please keep coming back.
Hard. I'm good. I want to hear everybody else. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for the support. And keep showing up, Jackie. Love your journey, and you're such an inspiration to many people on this platform with your story. And yeah, just a blessing to have you here in our presence. So thank you. Okay, let's go over to Will, and then we'll go to Max, and then we'll start to wrap up here. Okay, guys? Thank you. Will, over to you. How's it going?
Hey, Justin. Doing well, thanks. Good morning to everybody. Glad I can catch the end of these spaces, but yeah, things are going really well. I wanted to stop by and check in on the Ronins today. Apologies, I missed the first half of the conversation, but I loved what I just heard from Jackie. So that's amazing. But yeah, And not really too much to add on my side, but I wanted to come up and say, hi, are you closing and onboarding clients? And I've been so busy the last 2 weeks, which is why I haven't been here. As we talked about in the last mastermind, Justin, I did take your advice and we launched the multiple levels. And I tell you what, the mid-tier level has been taking off way more than I thought it would. So yeah, just really, really full on, but things are going amazingly well. And I'm looking forward to bringing back a little bit more of the daily stuff to the free community for you guys, as well as for those of you in the execution system as well. So yeah, things are going great.
Yeah, good stuff, Will. Yeah, man, thanks for checking in. And yeah, so for those of you who don't know, like the only reason that you should be missing these spaces, there's three reasons, okay? Number one, family emergency. Number two, you're closing a deal. Or number three, you're doing client fulfillment work. If it's any of those three things, you should not be here, okay? You are off the hook. If it's not one of those three things, you need to be in this room, right? Because you're going to get these little gems that really do something in your mind that help you take action to get that result. And kudos to Will, because yeah, we were on the mastermind, the monthly mastermind with Will, and I told him, I was like, yep, yep, yep. And the good thing with Will, he's very proactive. I want to acknowledge Will for this, right? So really, if you're really good and you're leveling up towards a form of mastery where you're very proactive, where you're seeing your next move. Like Will is really good at this. He says, Justin, here's where I'm at. Here's what I'm doing. What do you think about this? And then it's like, yep, that's good. No, here's what I do different. Boom, boom, boom. He's very organized. He's very prescriptive. He's very detailed. And that's a superpower, guys. That's a superpower. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing, Will. It's great to see that growth. And this is why you need a high ticket, a mid ticket, and a low ticket. Look, I guarantee you, mark my word from this February 17th, mark my word, this year Will get a individual corporate client that'll pay him over 5K a month. Okay? I guarantee it. I see it. I see it right here, right now. I guarantee it. And same with Yvonne. I guarantee this year you'll get a 5K client in the music, entertainment business, Hollywood. They'll pay you 5K a month, right? Yeah, you're gonna have those types of clients that come into your network. You can only handle one or two. That's great, but that doesn't stop you from doing your mid ticket and your low ticket, and you just keep moving forward with building your systems, building your team, and scaling it up. And there's no reason why by the end of this year, and I'm holding myself accountable too, there's no reason why we should not be making $20,000 a month minimum. Now that's not all profit, but there's no reason why with this amount of effort that we're putting in on these spaces and we're building our businesses, there is no reason why we can't be making at least $20,000 a month. At least $20,000 a month. So I'm holding myself accountable. I'm planning on doing it by the end of Q1, but that's just me. But there's no reason why all of us on this stage should not be bringing in $20,000 a month with our businesses. Period. That's what I want for you. That's what I want for you. That's what I want for us. Okay? So you mark the date here, February 17th. By December 31st of 2026, we should be checking in on a space right now, and we should be saying, hey, did we hit our metric? Did we hit the outcome? Yes, hey, I'm at 18,000 a month. I'll take it. But aim big. $20,000 a month is not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. That's not a lot of money. That's to cover your bills and, maybe put a little bit away for savings and, boom, 20,000 a month. Now, profit, we'll talk about that later. But if you can bring in $20,000 a month by the end of this year, do it. We're going to do it. Sharon should be doing that. She will be doing that. I know she will. If she keeps up with her work ethic and the standards that she's been doing, she will be making $20,000 a month. I know it. Same with Jane. Same with Anna. Same with Andy. Same with Jackie. Same with Max. He's probably already over that. Same with Will. Danielle for sure. Yvonne for sure. 100%. John Carlos, absolutely. Antonio, Yes, you too. So let's all make it happen. Let's hold each other accountable. $20,000 a month by the end of this year. And I want you to really put in the work, manifest it, dream about it, meditate on it, whatever you got to do to make it happen. So that's what I want for you guys. Okay. All right, Will, back over to you, and then we'll pass it to Max, and then we'll sign off.
I'll just make it normal. Like if you do nothing else, if 20K is what you want, right? Make that normal, your baseline, your expectation, neutral. Because if you're excited when you get that, you're telling your brain this is not normal. 20K is expected. Like 10K is abject poverty. 20K is expected, minimum. If that's what you want, I know a lot of people who can live on 2K a month and be absolutely happy. So what I would want to just give to the room here, Justin, as another way of looking at it, because 20K is great. But again, it's proportional. So the way I like to teach this to people is make your expenses and then work based on multiples, right? Because there's survival, there's sufficiency, there's surplus, and then there's sovereignty. And what I like to do is like, well, what is your expenses on a month? If you paid everything, what is your expenses? Okay, great. Your first goal is 2 times that, then 5 times that, then 10 times that, then 10 times that passively, right? And that is a lot more individually motivating because an arbitrary figure, again, it might not motivate people the same way. And to me, 20K a month just means I cover my bills and I can afford a staff. I'm like, let's go. But yeah, absolutely, Justin. And again, that you have to be the version of you to whom that's normal. Because if you aren't that, you'll find a way to get rid of it. Suddenly you'll find those expenses going up. So 20K, baseline, normal. It's always been for you, the normal. If you can get into that headspace, your brain will start to look for opportunities to make that your new default. Because the brain, the behavior is an expression of the mind and is an expression of awareness. So yeah, just make it normal and then allow yourself, do the work, of course, but allow yourself to treat that as your baseline.
Yeah, that's a solid baseline. And yeah, I just add the caveat that I don't want to work 60, 70 hours a week to get that 20K. I only want to work like 30 to 40. So let me just be very clear there because I've been on both ends of the spectrum and I can tell you from experience, like at this stage in my life, my heart, everything, I can probably only do 40, 50 hours a week right now, if I want to continue being here. So 20K a month baseline, working no more than 40, 50 hours a week. I can't do 60, 70 like I used to. And yeah, like that's baseline, like to Will's point. So I love that, Will. Thanks for the add on there and in full alignment there, no drifting away from that. So, because yeah, you can, think about it. Would you rather make, 10K a month working, 20, 30 hours a week? Or would you rather make, 30K a month working 60, 70 hours a week? I'm on the low end. If I was in my 20s, I already did that. I've already been there, but now that I'm in my 40s, so it's all about what works for you in your current situation, where you're at in your life. You have to evaluate that, take inventory, and then, adjust accordingly. So, all right, let's jump over to Max, and then I'm going to close this out here, guys. We went a little extra, but it was a great conversation. Hopefully it was valuable for you guys. And yeah, Max, over to you, man. Final word.
Thank you, Justin. I just wanted to confirm what I said last time. It took me 2 years to return to where I started it years ago, but my focus was to get a good team, like you always say, to have a good network. And finally, I found 2 lawyers and people that do business development. And it's incredible how you can start creating a team with friends that they have a specialization. We cannot do everything. I write very well, I connect, but I need the contacts. And the contacts at the end in one city and other countries, it's with locals. Never forget to have a referral, like you always say, like one good potential client for you, it could be a bigger client to others. But people don't know how to do that. because people don't respect the commission. You have to be very clear that, hey, if I'm going to give you this contact, you have to give me a commission. And that people, literally, they get mad when you say that. So we have to be very careful about how to do referrals and how to recommend, because people are weird in general. So thank you. Back to you, man.
Yeah, so let me ask you a question. Congrats, Max. Let me ask you a quick question. So, um, if you're asking if people are giving referrals or getting referrals and they're expecting some sort of kickback or commission, is that standard practice in your culture? Because in my culture, if I'm giving you a referral and I'm going to ask like for a commission or a kickback, it's just standard practice because, that's the karmic business. But, educate us.
Well, in Chile, it takes longer because people confuse collaboration and you have to help me, and does not help very much because everybody gives contacts for free. But in my case, has been very tough to explain to people that I'm a contact seller, but I cannot say that I'm a contact seller. I'm just a good connector. And I have to explain in the back channel that if I do this, you have to pay this. And they agree, I make an agreement, they sign it and do it. But it's not that easy in South America, really. People expect things for free. Back to you.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, thanks for educating us. Yeah. Um, I've kind of had that experience too with, the Latin American culture is yeah, and it's all about education at the end of the day. And if it's really truly a win-win, right? If you're really truly making it a win-win relationship, then they should have no problem, paying a little bit. Now, where it gets sticky is if you have too many, people cutting into the pie, right? If you have you can only chop things up so much to, leave some left over for, for everyone, right? So, you got to be cognizant of that and aware of that. So there's only so much, because keep in mind, like you got to have profitability as well built into these deals, these relationships, these projects. Like you got to have profitability in there. Otherwise, this is why my good buddy Robert, Andy knows him. He ran a Amazon fulfillment by Amazon business for like 8 years, and he was making 20, 30K a month, but the profit margin was only like 15, 18%, 20% on the high end. So with all the work that he was doing from his team flying out to China, like it was such low profit margin that he's like, man, this is not sustainable. Like I'm not going to make it. And I told him, 8 years ago, I said, Robert, you need to start a marketing agency, bro. Like, what are you doing? And then here he is today. He started a marketing agency and he's, doing great. So the point is, the margins can only go so far, right? This is why you have product businesses and you have service businesses. Product businesses, the margins are very slim. They're very slim. When it comes to service-based businesses, that's where you can get some profit margin. So make sure you're factoring that into your deals. So yeah, good stuff, Max. And another reminder to Max's story is it was in his local backyard, right? It was, his contact that he connected with was in his local backyard. So the point is, right, Max? Is that accurate? Yeah. Yeah. So think globally, but act locally. Guys, think globally, but act locally. This is really critical. You never, yeah.
A traveler. So I found a friend, and now he's a friend, he's a lawyer, but he took his life into Australia. I took my life into Texas. So when I started writing in LinkedIn show him who I was. And then suddenly when I used the word surf, that I did a contest in surf, he said, I need to meet this guy. So I organized in my rooftop a gathering with the entrepreneurs and business people, and he just approached and said, I want to do business with you. You have to be very clear. LinkedIn is very helpful. Even in X, you know that. Just say what you want, and the algorithm will help you for sure. Back to you.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah. The networking component, I know a guy who runs the big San Diego networking event, which I'm going to start speaking at hopefully this year. No, I will start speaking at that this year. I will speak at that event this year. And yeah, like, when people research you online, like Danielle mentioned it earlier, people will research you a little bit online and then it doesn't happen very often, but when they're like, they do the research and they're like, yeah, I need to work with you, Max. Like, boom, you know. And so organizing those types of offline groups are really powerful because you get the in-person, but you get people who are like, already have made up their mind and they're like, yeah, I want to do business with you, Danielle. I want to do business with you, Max. I want to do business with you, Yvonne. Right? So yeah, I'm gonna set that intention to speak at this next San Diego event. And well, guys, it's 8 o'clock here. I gotta get on it here. So I appreciate everyone's patience, and we went a little into bonus time here. I don't have time for final word, so my apologies. But yeah, just remember, guys, just some final words here. So make sure you have you already have your castle, right? As Jackie said and Yvonne said, like you already have your castle. Just continue building your castle, and there's different rooms in that castle, right? And you want this energy, and everything is energy. At the end of the day, we have Jackie here. Everything is energy at the end of the day, okay? And you want to have this energy that's just infectious, that people want to be around, right? They want to be around you because your energy is just infectious. Your enthusiasm just radiates the room. That's why they want to work with Danielle. Right? That's why they want to work with Yvonne. That's why they want to work with Jackie, with Will, with Max, because their energy is just radiating the room. It's just lighting it up, right? So carry that with you. Carry that with you in all that you do. I remember one of my past bosses, head of marketing, he left me a review on LinkedIn. He's like, yeah, he has an infectious passion for data that just leaves somebody, you know, like, wow, just wows them, right? And yeah, if you're passionate about something and you're really into it and you get results and you're good at what you do, like you celebrate that. You highlight that. That's part of promoting. And that's not, because look, if you're uncomfortable with promoting yourself, you're not going to make it in this business. You have to be comfortable with promoting yourself. You have to be comfortable with promoting yourself. That's just the name of the game. So and do it in a way that's positive, but that's also people are getting a learning experience through what you're sharing. So just remember, guys, know who you are because that's the foundation of it all, as Will would say. So just remember, at the end of our lives, we'll ask ourselves 4 simple questions. Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? And did I make a difference? Until next time, keep making a difference. Build that mind, build that body, build that business, build that bank account, but most importantly, build that legacy. So stay healthy, stay hungry, and stay humble. We'll see you guys at the top. If you want to keep growing, check out the Revenue Ronin community. We've had over 40 people sign up. You can be over, 45, number 45. And please subscribe to the newsletter. I pinned it above. If you're not on the Revenue Ronin newsletter, it's daily actionable tips. That's going to put more money in your bank account. If that's something that you're interested in, make sure you subscribe. Love to have you as a subscriber there. And make it a productive, but most importantly, profitable day. And we'll see you tomorrow back in the Startup Circle community for Wisdom Wednesday. And yeah, make it a productive and profitable day, guys. All right, much love.